Scottie Scheffler makes a startling confession about his life as a pro golfer ahead of the Open Championship. Hey everyone, welcome into another edition of On Tour with Jon McCarthy, presented by Callaway. Rob Wong joined alongside by Toronto Sun national golf writer Jon McCarthy, who is in Northern Ireland at Royal Portrush ahead of the Open Championship this week. And obviously everybody wondering what's going to happen on the course, John, but quite a surprising confession from Scottie Scheffler before the tournament starts, saying, quote, that he is not out here to inspire the next generation of golfers. He's not out here to inspire someone to be the best player in the world, because what's the point? This is not a fulfilling life, which I'm sure caught a lot of people off guard in the media room. It's not the first time that we've heard a professional athlete say that, you know, the sport does not define me. There are other things about life that I enjoy maybe a little bit more. But what did you make of the comments from the top golfer in the world?
Well, it was certainly fascinating, and I mean, as the golf world has been sort of some people waiting for Scottie Scheffler to say something interesting off the course. The knock on him has been some people think he's boring when they hear him in interviews. Well, I guess those days are over because it was quite a press conference. He went on for about 5 minutes, almost unprompted, about how he does not find the game of golf fulfilling or satisfying. When he wins, he says he sometimes only feels good for 2 seconds. So it was. It it surprises you obviously, but you start to draw a parallel line between some of the things we've seen going on with players like Rory McIlroy, how he completes the career Grand Slam but then seems miserable a week later. And I almost think some of these high achieving people and high achieving athletes, they spend their whole life chasing something, and then when they finally get it, there is a big question of what's next, or is that all there is? And I think Scottie Scheffler might just be the first one to put it into words so clearly for everybody else. I almost think either Rory's afraid to admit it or hadn't thought of it yet, but Scottie Scheffler was definitely not afraid to say it, and he was just sort of spitballing what's on the top of his mind, because he kept saying, "Does that make sense? Does that make sense?" So it's almost like he was working through it. It was like a therapy session with 100 journalists at Royal Portrush, and it was certainly quite something.
Yeah, it definitely was. And clearly it does not affect his game, at least, if you want to interpret it as his love for this sport. He's been playing at this level for quite a while right now. When you look at the players in the mix that could win this tournament, where do you think he stands? Is he right at the top of the list?
He is at the top of the list. I mean, the only question would be he's never done it on a links golf course, but there's nothing to suggest that he couldn't and won't, and he is the favorite heading into this event. And I mean, of all his comments, none of them were saying he's an uber competitive person, which is sort of this juxtaposition he's trying to work through. Is he said, I often think, why do I want to win it so much? Why do I show up at the Masters like wanting nothing more in life than to win this tournament, knowing that it's only going to make me happy for 2 minutes? He gave the example of winning the hometown Byron Nelson Classic in Texas, where he's from. He said he literally grew up his entire life working to have a chance to win that tournament. And he said when he won it, he was happy for about, I think he said 2 seconds, and then it was what's for dinner. So it's certainly an interesting thing. And you even think back to somebody like Tiger Woods, how he seemed to, as I mentioned in a column I wrote today, perhaps it's the Green Beret father who served 2 tours in Vietnam, or the Buddhist mother, but he certainly had a more steely disposition. But I don't think anyone would suggest that Tiger Woods seemed fulfilled in life. Like, he was always chasing something, and I think that's what some of these high achieving athletes. It's what drives them, makes them so good. But it also is what can make life so difficult for them, I guess. I spoke with somebody. I spoke with Nick Taylor about it, and he said he could understand it. He said you know, him and Taylor Penrith both said, "Oh, we find our lives professionally fulfilling." But he said he can understand, because of how much you put into it. And a guy like Scotty, he says he wins so much that it is literally like what's next as soon as he wins again. But it was certainly an interesting day here at Portrush, and it's given the golf world something to talk about.
Yeah, definitely a way to start off the week with the world number one questioning his life as a pro golfer a little bit. But like I said, it's not affecting him so far this season. 3 wins, including one at the PGA Championship. We'll see if he can add another major to his resume. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. For Jon McCarthy, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you on the next one.